What's going on YouTube? I'm Emotional, aka you're something of sexy. You know where the best be is me, can't you see? I'm fresh and so clean. What's going on, y'all? We back at it for another reaction video. This is the unfiltered truth about Ballislife East Coast Squad full story part 2 out of 3. So we about to go ahead and dive straight into it. Like, comment, subscribe. Now baby, let's vibe. Hit the button, baby.
In part 1, we connected all the dots and how the team was started, and then how and where each player was found after that. We also went over Scotty's creative vision for the team and why Frigga ended up opting out of joining the team.
I couldn't necessarily be myself.
Then the roster was set, and we spent the next few months traveling around cities in Florida looking for the most energetic parts we could find. I remember before the East and West game, Scotty would express how he was stressed about the game and how it was going to affect us afterwards. And as competitors, all the players, we wanted to play the game, but Scotty was the one that was extracting himself and his ego from the situation. He was just looking at things for what was best for us and our future. So my question for Scotty was, what were your concerns leading up to the East-West game?
Going into the East Coast squad versus West Coast squad, I was very apprehensive to the idea. I had expressed to my bosses at the time that this is something brand new to the East Coast squad. We've never been seen as a team that focused on winning. We were seen as a team that was like very raw, authentic. You know, sometimes we would lose games, but like in the midst of us losing, we were entertaining. We were going crazy with crazy dunks, ankle breakers, alley-oops, trash talk. You know, we were going back and forth, isolations, all of that. Like it was very, very street ball-esque. And I was fearful because at the end of the day, these are YouTube videos, these are edited, there's misses that are taken out, there's certain things that are taken out that are won in favor of the YouTube algorithm. Like
I respect that he said that too.
Video
I respect that Scotty said that there were misses taken out, because you wouldn't think folks would say that, right? Because you would think, oh no, everything is raw and everything is like 100% left in and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But like, I respect the fact that Scotty said that. Hold on, bring it back.
Going crazy with crazy dunks, ankle breakers, alley-oops, trash talk. You know, we were going back and forth, isolations, all of that. Like it was very, very street ball-esque. And I was fearful because at the end of the day, these are YouTube videos, these are edited, there's misses that are taken out, there's certain things that are taken out that are won in favor of the YouTube algorithm. Like of course we want to make the most entertaining video as possible for you guys. So seeing this live, the game was going to be a little bit more sloppy, you know, a longer game. And going into it, you know, I was just very fearful that people would see these guys in a total different light. And it's not to say that these are not good basketball players, it's just the mindset of going into the street ball events that we were doing at the time was like, I'm not looking for the wide open three. I'm not looking for the ball movement into the wide open three. I'm looking for somebody to score on me. I call them out, I'm coming down the court, and I'm hitting them with a Millie Rock three, and the court's gonna go crazy.
Right,
so when we go into a game that's for money, and you're playing against the West Coast squad, which is loaded with amazing basketball players.
So it was August 1st, 2021. I get a phone call from Scotty, and he's like, the East-West game is happening.
I believe first play, Bionic already had took Zach out.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Slim went crazy in that game, though. Slim went stupid. What the heck, brother? What was you trying to accomplish right here? What was the goal? What was the vision here? Like, I ain't gonna lie, his face is, yeah, his face says it all, bro. But yeah, that sounded, it seemed like one of them situations where it sounded good in my head, but didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. Frank is just different, though. Frank is different. Oh, that's nasty. Around White Iverson.
That easy White Iverson with the layup drive.
only thing that kind of really affected me was getting 3-0'd. That shit sucks. It does. Definitely does. Seeing other people celebrate after getting at least one game, I would have been okay. 3-0 is crazy. We just wasn't prepared for that game. We thinking it's gonna be like a street ball game, you know, like park street, like how it always been. We go to the parks, like, type shit, like somebody score on you, you go get them back, go get a bucket type shit. But they was running plays and stuff, and we was just sitting there like, damn, this is a real game. We tell
you where they messed up at. What happened? They're playing one-on-one basketball, and wait, and then they got the hype man on the mic telling them to go back and play one-on-one instead of play basketball.
Now let's get into how this affected us as a team and the team morale and some of the backlash that we got.
I do believe that that it kind of all went downhill from there. I think like that's when like people's egos and shit just started going out the fucking window. Like
After we played that game and we lost.
But like Slim was cooking though. From what I remember, like I know Slim was going stupid. Like I had more expectations from Duke, I'm not gonna lie. Like, cause Duke was my favorite from the squad. I'm not gonna lie, like Duke was my favorite. And it was like, I was kind of surprised the way that things went for Duke. I'm not gonna lie.
There was an immediate disconnect internally with our team.
We just never clicked again for real as a team. There's always some shit going on. I don't really want to talk too much about it, but that's what I can really say for you right now.
For the longest time, we were having all these viral videos. Everybody loved the East Coast squad. The comments were very positive. We'd have like the negative ones here and there, but ultimately the positive outweighed those negatives.
So Scotty was right. After the game, did it.
The negative comments came in. The dark mindsets and dark spaces for all the players came in. You know, it was a completely new dynamic, and it was exactly what I feared would happen.
Scotty was right.
After the East-West game, we flew back to Florida. We all just kind of chilled out for a few days, and then we had to get right back to it because we were on salary with Ballislife to do a certain amount of park takeovers per month. We ended up going to Jacksonville and then Valdosta, Georgia, and at the time, Chris White had just led the Savage Squad, and their beef was blowing up online. So we invited Chris to come play with us at these 2 runs, and it went great, honestly.
Let's go Jacksonville. Outside. That's what we like to see, man.
This trip ended up being exactly what we needed directly after the West Coast game, just to get back on the road and compete and get back on track with what we were doing beforehand.
Come on, Billy.
Losing to the West Coast sucked badly, but getting right back on the road and hooping definitely kind of settled everybody back in.
Twin your legs, get off me, get off me, get off me.
So we get back from that trip, and when we got home, we wanted to have more ownership over what we were doing. Everything we were doing was very transactional. Do park takeover, and then we get paid on salary for it. But by this time, we had all quit our day jobs, so we started to think about our sustainability and future in this, and we collectively decided we needed ownership of something to fall back on in case anything happened with Ballislife, so that we could control our own destiny and still pay our bills. So we created a brand new YouTube channel from scratch called the Ballislife East Coast Squad channel. The problem with that is we were known as the Ballislife East Coast Squad, and we were all on salary with Ballislife. So we can't just make a Ballislife East Coast Squad channel and it not be under the umbrella of Ballislife. The reason I'm bringing this into the story is because this is when there was the first sign of just unhappiness, specifically from Scotty, because he wanted ownership of something. And the percentage of ownership that we settled on for that channel, Scotty wasn't happy with. But we still had a job to do, and none of the players were about to leave this situation at the time. Therefore, we did what we know best.
Who?
Only this time around, alongside of our obligation to post the park takeovers on the main channel, we were simultaneously growing our East Coast channel.
Oh yeah, and they was able to bring Ty out.
Although the negotiations in regards to the East Coast channel didn't end the way we wanted them to, Ballislife always kept an open mind with us. We were in talks of potentially getting a gym in the future, starting a Ballislife East Coast League.
The bag work is just different.
We got Niven Glover out here.
We were ambitious and hopeful, but the takeovers started to take their toll. The takeovers definitely got dark.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah. I don't even understand why Cuz even did that.
It got to a point where we had to cut certain things out. We've not posted full takeovers because it got so toxic. My theory on why the takeovers got to that point was, if you guys remember, there were some other creators that were pushing that toxicity. Full transparency here. I'm not throwing shots at anyone.
Is it that serious at a basketball game? You really brought that to a park takeover? Nah, that's nasty. That's nasty. That's like, it's just no need for this. Like, where is it? Hold on.
We got to a point where we had to cut certain things out. We've not posted full takeovers because it got so toxic.
Like, you really brought that with you to a park takeover? What it's like, what did you hope to gain from that though? I don't get it.
Theory on why the takeovers got to that point was, if you guys remember, there were some other creators that were pushing that toxicity. Full transparency here. I'm not throwing shots at anyone, but it just was what it was. And we would pull up to these takeovers, and not everybody knew exactly who we were. So some people would show up from the neighborhood just thinking that we're the YouTube guys. They may have seen something online from a different creator and kind of grouped all of us together. So we were getting different kind of...
That makes more sense then. That makes more sense. Because I was like, why would you bring that to a Ballislife East Coast park takeover? But then, like, there were other creators that were doing that type of toxic trash talky, really toxic trash talk. So yeah, I can understand it now. Now it makes sense. Still kind of crazy though. No, still very crazy, but I get it.
So some people would show up from the neighborhood just thinking that we're the YouTube guys. They may have seen something online from a different creator and kind of grouped all of us together. So we were getting different kind of energy than we were when we first started. Sign up for So Rare right now and you can play for free, but compete for cash prizes. 100% free, no purchases needed. Go to Vegas, you heard. There's these 100K in cash rewards. Now let's get back to the video. Luckily, this was December of 2021, so we had the Christmas break and then New Year's to kind of rejuvenate. We came into that new year ready to go.
Oh, this is where you hit the Millie Lock in the wing. Yeah, I remember this. I remember you posted that clip on TikTok too. Around this time, an up-and-coming,
highly funded streaming platform was getting involved with the street basketball space.
What was the name of it again?
You guys remember the platform Caffeine. Caffeine coming into the equation was huge for this space because it had the funding to make a lot of games happen. Our first game on Caffeine was against Zone 6. As we saw Caffeine coming into the equation, we felt like the space was heading in a new direction. We started seeking out better competition and playing a better brand of basketball because we knew winning was going to be the most important thing. So we started to play more gym runs, private runs, and even leagues like the Miami Pro League.
Oh yeah, and brought Chris White out for that, I think. Yeah, they did bring Chris. I see him. That's sick. That's sick.
My injury, you guys know I had a grade A tear. You know, it slowed me down completely. I don't think I got the right training after the injury. You know, I'm just not starting to trust myself again. I know it took over a year just for me to trust myself again and get back out there.
6 days before our first caffeine game, we were playing in a private run in South Florida, preparing for the game and continuing to make our transition into playing better basketball. I had a high ankle sprain, so this sidelined me and Clamp for the Zone 6 game.
February 12th, we got a game against Zone 6.
So we commentated.
Ready to rock and roll, man. Eastern 3. There's nothing else to say. It's time. All the talk is done.
Didn't they bring Ty for this? I think it was, yeah, okay. Yeah, I remember him too, yeah. I'm trying to think, didn't Zone 6 win like one game? I think. It was either a start, I think it was either a sweep or it was one game. I think it was one game though.
94 feet.
Working out on Ryan. Stutter step. He got him on the hezzy.
Ball game.
After the Zone 6 game, we went back to posting on the East Coast channel. By this time, we had a pretty good subscriber base on that channel, and Scotty came to us with a new vision. He wanted to start a new series called The League. This series was going to document a full season of us playing against a lot of other pros from Tampa.
We were having practices, we were having game days, the storyline was really good, it was very inspirational.
I always find myself arguing that, hey, these guys can really play, they just have to do the entertainment part. Well, now's my time to make sure that my truth comes out with you guys.
Players were rallying behind each other and the chemistry was starting to go back up and things of that nature.
Instead of Slim is just a dunker, no, Slim can actually shoot, Slim can dribble, and Slim also can defend.
Ew.
See how much money that the first like 7 or 8 episodes did.
The beginning of the end.
So we do about 3 more episodes of the League series and fans are loving it. It's going really well, but there still was that lingering unhappiness about the percentages of the East Coast squad. That never really left the back of our minds, particularly Scotty's. So I get married March 26th. Some of the guys came to my wedding and had a great time. Go on my honeymoon, and about 2 days into my honeymoon, start getting phone calls, start getting texts. Everything was blowing up. Scotty and Ballislife had a really heated conversation. Everything kind of hit a boiling point. They were apologetic that I was on my honeymoon, but also the conversations had to be had. So we had kind of an emergency meeting, basically announcing that Scotty was no longer going to be working with us. And in that meeting, Slim was like, if Scotty's gone, I'm gone. So that is why we lost not only Scotty, but Slim. And you have to respect Slim's loyalty and willingness and courage to move on from something stable. I personally just bought a house and had a new wife, and I felt like it might be selfish of me to do, so I stayed with a stable income. But I definitely struggled with the thought of, should I stay, should I go, what's the right decision?
This is the video y'all been waiting for. Got my boy Scott here with me today, man.
What's up?
My cameraman, my brother, you know what I'm saying?
We've had like 14, 15 months of just traveling around playing basketball at the parks, and obviously a lot of great moments happened, a lot of bad moments as well.
Hanging out with my boys, you know, traveling and stuff, just going out to eat with them. That's probably the best part to me. You know, we like a family and stuff like that. Like nothing against my boys, but I feel like I'm just being capped off from what my true potential is. But the time I have now, I can focus on what I really want to do. If I make it, I make it. You know, if I don't, I don't. But at the end of the day, I still got this, you know, back to fall on.
With Slim, it's just his, you know, he feels his potential surpasses what he was able to do with the guys.
So we ended up doing one last farewell run with Slim in Tallahassee. We had all been through so much together, coming up from nothing. It made that group really close. We had our differences at times, but who doesn't? In that run, this was actually, and I want you guys to really pay attention with this, because I know you guys have so many questions about Zach.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the most asked question on the last video. What happened to Zach?
Right.
Everybody's been wondering. This run was kind of the beginning of the end of Zach leaving as well. He tore his MCL this run. Slim and Scotty leaving kind of broke everything up. We were one, and then once they left, it felt like we were in pieces. And Zach wasn't really feeling it as much, to be honest. Now, his story is his story. I did get in contact with Zach about 2 weeks ago. I talked to him on the phone, And he said he's currently working in Southwest Florida at a rehab facility, helping people get back on their feet. He talked about how gratifying the work was and how he's impacting people's lives. We had a genuine conversation, and I could really tell he was in a good space. So I understand there are a lot of questions about Zach, but also try to respect his privacy and his decisions. He did say, though, that he wants to come back to the internet and kind of do it on the side along with his new career and line of work. So if he wants to come back, he will. If not, he's doing great work. So just allow him to do his thing.
Okay.
I want to take this time to say I thought this story was worth being told, so I'm telling it from our perspective. You guys know there's two sides to every story, and I want to say Matt and AK at Ballislife are good intentioned people. People may not see eye to eye in business terms, but that doesn't mean they did any shady business. They were always upfront and well-intentioned people. Maybe one day we can all sit down and talk about things from their perspective, but I just wanted to close part 2 out by saying there was no shady business done, and I have respect for it.
Trying to walk the line between us. So pay no mind to my pride. I don't need it. I don't need it.
I ain't gonna lie, Millie, like I enjoyed like seeing this part 2 because it's like especially because like the Zach thing, because it was so random, because it's like 1 minute Zach's there and then it's like, what the heck happened to Zach? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's like it's understandable, like, you know, respect his privacy and him doing his own thing. It'll be dope for him to come back, you know what I'm saying, to see what he does as far as like, you know, basketball and balancing basketball between the internet thing and the new line of work he's in. But it's interesting to see like what all happened as far as like how badly the Ballislife East Coast versus West Coast game impacted the team though. Because it was like, I was rooting for East Coast squad because I had seen so much from them. I had seen a little bit of West Coast, but I didn't really know too much about them for real. But like the more that I researched and found things like Frank and Ty and Caesar, and I'm like, oh, them brothers like that. Them brothers is like that. So it was like, okay. But like, you could definitely see the differences, like, because I remember that's one of the reasons why I really liked watching East Coast, because East Coast was like, it was entertaining. It was really, really entertaining. Now, if I want to watch these guys that's like smack everybody, I'm gonna watch West Coast. But like, if I'm gonna watch something that I'm gonna watch them win games, but at the same time be really, really entertaining, I'm gonna watch the East Coast. And so it was like, because I remember Millie with the Millie Rock, Duke and Slim with the dunks, but then also like being able to shoot, because it's like they weren't just like highlight reels, they could actually shoot the ball too, you know what I'm saying? And then like Tim playing defense. I think the thing for me was, because I knew him for his defense, but like when I actually started to see what else Tim could do, that's when I was like, oh, okay, you're not just a defender, you can actually like, you actually have some vert, like you actually have more than just the defense. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it was interesting seeing the progression of the East Coast squad too, because it's like you get to learn more about each thing. But also I respect Slim and Scotty going out on their own, because then if they never went out on their own, would we have Nas? Would we have Moon? Would we have these guys in the space? Probably not. Because it's like, imagine if Scotty and Slim never went out and did their own thing with Court. Like, you know, we wouldn't have had the Wild Hunt, and we wouldn't have had Moon, we wouldn't have Nas, we wouldn't have Cinco, we wouldn't have had none of them cats. You know what I'm saying? But then also we probably wouldn't have the next chapter if Slim and Scotty don't leave Ballislife. So it's interesting seeing like what transpired and like seeing all the different effects from one move made. You know what I'm saying? One move, one leap of faith really made. So it's really interesting seeing like the effect from like one thing to the next, you know what I'm saying? But also understanding like the behind the scenes stuff. But I do want to see the rest of this series. So we about to go ahead and I'm about to get up out of here first, and we're gonna do the other ones later. But peace, baby. Love y'all. Brain be farting sometimes.